Fatty liver can quietly build for years without obvious pain, while metabolic changes spread through your body long before your liver demands attention. That is exactly why 7 overlooked warning signals matter, not because they diagnose fatty liver, but because together they can justify getting checked. Stay to the end, because the most important clue may not be something you feel at all, it may already be hiding in routine blood work. Fatty liver is now commonly called metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, or MASLD, and it means excess fat has accumulated inside liver cells. Steatosis is not the same as hepatitis, fibrosis, or cirrhosis, but some people progress when metabolic stress and inflammation continue over time. The liver normally receives fatty acids from food, adipose tissue, and its own synthesis, then burns, stores, or exports them according to metabolic demand. When incoming fat exceeds what the liver can safely process or export, triglyceride droplets accumulate inside hepatocytes, creating the foundation of hepatic steatosis. Insulin-resistance can accelerate this traffic by releasing more fatty acids from adipose tissue, while also promoting new fat production inside the liver. Here is the first warning signal: people dismiss persistent fatigue that feels disproportionate to sleep, workload, or the ordinary demands of your day. Fatigue is nonspecific and has many causes, so it cannot diagnose fatty liver, but it is reported by some people with MASLD. The biological link is complicated metabolic dysfunction, inflammation, sleep problems, obesity, and other accompanying conditions may all contribute to reduced energy and endurance. So if fatigue persists, do not assume your liver is responsible. Consider it one clue that deserves context, especially alongside metabolic risk factors. The second overlooked signal is a vague pressure, fullness, or dull discomfort beneath the right ribs, where most of your liver sits. Early fatty liver is often painless, so dramatic stabbing pain is not the classic picture and should prompt evaluation for other possible causes. When discomfort does occur, it can be subtle enough to blame on digestion, posture, a heavy meal, ordinary muscle strain, or stress. Persistent right upper abdominal discomfort deserves medical assessment, particularly when it accompanies obesity, diabetes, abnormal lipids, metabolic risk, or previously abnormal liver blood tests. Signal number 3 is not directly from the liver. Dark, thickened, velvety skin around the neck or armpits can reflect insulin resistance. This skin change is called acanthosis nigricans, and it matters because insulin resistance is deeply connected with the metabolic environment that promotes MASLD. Think of it as a metabolic warning light, not a fatty liver diagnosis. The same insulin resistance can affect glucose, adipose tissue, and liver metabolism. If these patches appear alongside weight gain or elevated glucose, discussing metabolic screening with a clinician can reveal risks before obvious liver symptoms develop. Signal number 4 is an expanding waistline, especially when visceral fat increases even though your overall body weight has changed only modestly. Visceral adipose tissue is metabolically active, releasing fatty acids and signaling molecules that can increase the liver's exposure to excess lipid traffic. This does not mean every person with abdominal fat has MASLD, and lean people can develop it too, so appearance alone never settles diagnosis. But a growing waist combined with high blood pressure, abnormal glucose, or unhealthy lipid levels should shift the conversation from appearance toward metabolic health. Signal number 5 often appears on a laboratory report. Elevated fasting glucose, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes can strongly overlap with fatty liver risk. When muscle and adipose tissue become less responsive to insulin, the liver receives stronger signals and substrates that favor continued glucose and fat production. Meanwhile, higher insulin levels may stimulate de novo lipogenesis, converting excess gasparotederived carbon into fatty acids that can accumulate as triglycerides inside hepatocytes. That is why blood sugar problems and fatty liver often travel together, although one does not automatically prove the presence of the other. If your glucose has been drifting upward, the useful question is not only about diabetes risk, but also whether your liver deserves assessment. Signal number 6 is another quiet laboratory clue. Elevated triglycerides, particularly when combined with other cardiometabolic abnormalities, can accompany the same metabolic dysfunction. The liver packages triglycerides into lipoprotein particles for export, but insulin resistance can disrupt this balance while increasing both hepatic fat and circulating triglycerides. A single abnormal lipid panel cannot diagnose fatty liver, yet repeated abnormalities can strengthen the case for looking at the entire metabolic picture. Well, this is where routine numbers become useful. Triglycerides, glucose, blood pressure, waist circumference, and liver tests together reveal more than any single symptom. Goal number 7 is the one many people misunderstand. Mildly elevated ALT or AST may be discovered accidentally during an unrelated blood test. These enzymes can rise when liver cells are stressed or injured, but normal values do not reliably exclude fatty liver or even significant fibrosis. That means waiting for liver enzymes to become dramatically abnormal can create false reassurance, especially in people with diabetes, obesity, or multiple metabolic risks. Clinicians may combine history, laboratory results, and non-invasive fibrosis tools to decide whether imaging, elastography, specialist assessment, or additional testing is appropriate. Over. Now notice the pattern. Our 7 signals are not 7 proof points, they are pieces of a metabolic puzzle that becomes meaningful in combination. And there is an important red flag distinction: jaundice, abdominal swelling, leg swelling, vomiting blood, black stools, or confusion are not subtle early clues. Those features can indicate advanced liver dysfunction or other serious disease and require prompt medical evaluation rather than another diet experiment or online remedy. So how do you actually confirm fatty liver if symptoms are unreliable? Diagnosis starts with risk assessment, medical history, blood tests, and appropriate imaging. Ultrasound may detect steatosis, while elastography and validated blood-based scores can help estimate fibrosis risk without immediately requiring an invasive liver biopsy. The goal is not merely to find fat, it is to identify who might have inflammation or fibrosis, because fibrosis is especially important for prognosis. Finding fatty liver also creates an opportunity, because the same lifestyle changes that improve liver fat can benefit glucose control, cardiovascular risk, and fitness. Start with the highest impact target. If you carry excess body weight, sustained weight loss can reduce liver fat and may improve inflammation and fibrosis. But this is not about crash dieting. Rapid, unsustainable restriction usually fails adherence, while gradual changes in energy intake are easier to maintain. A Mediterranean-style eating pattern is a strong practical framework. Emphasize vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts, fish, and unsaturated fats from minimally processed foods. Replace sugar-sweetened drinks with water, unsweetened coffee, or other low-sugar options, because liquid calories can make excess daily energy intake remarkably easy. Reduce frequent servings of refined carbohydrates, heavily processed snacks, and foods rich in saturated fat when they displace fiber-rich, minimally processed alternatives. Protein matters too, especially during weight loss, because adequate protein helps preserve lean mass, while the overall dietary pattern supports better metabolic control. Fiber-rich foods improve satiety and dietary quality, while legumes, vegetables, whole grains, fruit, nuts, and seeds can make calorie control more sustainable. Exercise adds another pathway. Muscle contraction increases energy use and improves metabolic fitness, helping reduce liver fat even when the scale changes modestly. Aim for consistent aerobic activity, plus resistance training when appropriate for your health, rather than searching for one supposedly perfect liver-cleansing exercise. Sleep deserves attention because insufficient or disrupted sleep can worsen appetite regulation, insulin sensitivity, and metabolic health, indirectly making liver management more difficult. Alcohol deserves an individualized conversation because existing liver disease, fibrosis risk, medications, and drinking patterns can change what is considered a safer choice. And no, a detox tea cannot wash fat out of hepatocytes. Liver fat falls when the metabolic conditions driving accumulation improve over time. Supplements are not a substitute for diagnosis either, and concentrated products can sometimes injure the liver or interact with medications, despite natural-sounding labels. Here is a practical 7-signal check: fatigue, right-sided discomfort, insulin-resistant skin changes, expanding waist, rising glucose, high triglycerides, and abnormal liver enzymes. None proves MASLD, but multiple clues together, especially with obesity, diabetes, hypertension, or dyslipidemia, make a professional liver and metabolic assessment more reasonable. Do not ignore the opposite problem. Either someone can have fatty liver while feeling completely normal and having liver enzymes inside the reference range. That is why risk-based assessment beats symptom hunting, especially for people with type 2 diabetes, obesity, or several additional cardiometabolic risk factors. If your clinician identifies steatosis, the next question should be fibrosis risk, not simply whether fat appears bright on an ultrasound image. Fibrosis reflects scar formation after ongoing injury, and advanced fibrosis carries far more clinical significance than uncomplicated fat accumulation inside liver cells alone. This distinction protects you from two mistakes: panicking over every fatty liver finding and, equally dangerous, dismissing meaningful fibrosis because you feel well. Our action plan begins with objective numbers. Review glucose control, lipids, blood pressure, body weight trend, alcohol intake, medications, and liver-related laboratory results. Then, build meals around minimally processed foods, adequate protein, high-fiber plants, and mostly unsaturated fats, while reducing excess calories that are easy to overconsume. Make activity predictable rather than heroic. Regular walking, cycling, swimming, or similar aerobic work combined with resistance exercise creates a sustainable metabolic stimulus. Track progress using measurements that matter. Weight when relevant, waist trend, glucose, lipids, blood pressure, and clinician-directed liver assessment, not detox sensations. If you already have diabetes, obesity, sleep apnea, or cardiovascular disease, improving liver health often overlaps with improving the same underlying metabolic drivers. That overlap is good news. You do not need 7 separate cures. You need a consistent strategy targeting energy balance, insulin resistance, and cardiometabolic health. The biggest takeaway is simple. Fatty liver often whispers instead of shouting. So waiting for obvious liver symptoms can miss the most useful intervention window. Treat these 7 signals as prompts for context, not self-diagnosis, and seek testing when several risks cluster or abnormalities persist over time. If advanced warning signs like jaundice, swelling, bleeding, or confusion appear, skip the lifestyle detective work and seek urgent medical evaluation promptly. Otherwise, focus on what you can control today: whole foods, sustainable portions, regular movement, good sleep, and appropriate medical follow-up when risk is elevated. Subscribe to VitaNHealth for science-backed nutrition and 3D medical explanations that turn confusing health signals into practical decisions you can